In the north, we have Shanghai, and you name it, some people may consider Tianjin as also a potential threat. What's your view on that?
Hong Kong's gateway role has always been changing. Hong Kong's gateway is very unique in the world because China's economy was closed, then partially opening and opening more, and Hong Kong's fulfilling gateway role in the whole process. There's no other place in the world have that kind of interesting opportunity. We should not be afraid of the opening of China. We should not be afraid of competition from Chinese cities or other cities for that matter. Chinese opening has actually, in the past, 30 years, has been giving Hong Kong more opportunities, not less. Before you have the financial market opening, Hong Kong, Hong Kong specialized in trade and manufacturing because China was not open. But these days, China is completely open to the world in goods manufacturing. And Hong Kong's business is still making good money from our investment and manufacturing in China. When we look at Chinese policies now regarding their financial market opening, Hong Kong is a gateway, but a gateway in a different sense. Hong Kong is a gateway as a testing ground of new policies. The renminbi internationalization, the capital market reform, all these measures are now put together with Hong Kong serving as a testing ground. So new ideas, new way of running currency can be tried out in Hong Kong and see how it works. Eventually, of course, this policy will be open to the world. Hong Kong is only a testing ground.
My stance is positive, very positive. And obviously the number of roles that Hong Kong is playing and will be playing going forward, I think nobody will doubt the role of RMB. You have the second largest economy in the world trying to internationalize the currency. And where's the epicenter? Right here in Hong Kong. Every day, there's about 10 billion US dollars or more of FX, including forwards, etc., being traded every day. And I also think that Hong Kong is ever more playing that role as China's international financial center. There's still a lot of things that currently rules-wise can't be done in China that people come to Hong Kong to do. It really is the last stop before you get into China if you want to invest there, or the first stop for Chinese companies if you want to move out. That's Hong Kong.
One element which I would suggest the Hong Kong people or the Hong Kong government, we should all focus on is Chinese companies now is a major foreign investors. They are investing heavily all over the world. China is now the third largest country in terms of investment overseas, just behind the US and Japan. And we're talking about 80 billion US dollar in a year, in FY 2012. And this would mean big opportunities. Should Hong Kong be positioning itself to serve and capture this opportunity? Can Hong Kong be making use of its international connection, its people, its infrastructure to serve all these Chinese companies' investment and set up their international headquarters in Hong Kong for the international investments? You look at so many state-owned enterprises, private enterprises, so many provincial government, city government having their window company in Hong Kong. How can we make the best use of those? That would be the way that it.
China is changing a lot. It's changing quickly. So, Hong Kong, I think, is on top of its game now, both on the banking side, as was referenced. Certainly in terms of things like aviation, Hong Kong is the biggest international aviation hub in Asia, bigger than anywhere else. It's the third biggest international aviation hub in the world. Hong Kong is just about the top cargo hub in the world. And Hong Kong is a small place. Think about that. The small Hong Kong is, punches this big in international aviation. We do that, I think, because we've been very efficient, very proactive about making the investments in infrastructure, about making those linkages between the rest of the world and Hong Kong and between Hong Kong and China. But guess what? As was pointed out, Chinese companies investing overseas, the world is changing. Unless we change along with it, the fact that you've been good in the past doesn't guarantee that you're going to be on top in the future. And I think one of the tricky things for Hong Kong is to figure out what it needs to do to make sure it stays in the game in the future. You can never expect the game to stay the same, and for goodness sakes, looking at the speed of change in China, you really have to have a forward view in terms of what that's going to look like and what you're going to do to make sure you play a role in it.
But of course, Xintiandi in Shanghai compared to the Xintiandi that I'm trying to build in other cities are very different. The cities are at different stages of development. So you just have to cater to what they need at that point in time. You cannot be too far ahead. And I think that's something unique that Hong Kong can do. But of course, we cannot just say, oh, we're from Hong Kong, so we can do it. I spend a lot of time to try and understand the market and then combining it with my experience and upbringing in Hong Kong and then designing it so that it can work.
Thank you once again to our panelists.